Okay, one more time, let's have a quick reviewing this machine. This is the Zoll M series, the latest model of this company for DC shock. Of course, this machine has three options. Actually, you can use, instead of the monitoring, just monitor your patient for the defibrillation and cardioversion simultaneously, and as a pacing. In your ward, for the pacing, it is a very rare possibility, but let's start from the beginning. For the monitoring, as you see, as this machine is the latest one, it is M+, means there is AED function is also available. So basically you can use as AED, but of course as you are proficient, it is not advised for you, you have to switch it to the manual mode. By the pressing this key, there is several key here. One of them already mentioned, manual mode. By pressing this key, it will change to the normal. All the keys will turn on, then you can adjust, you can set whatever you want. I use this device to show the rhythm here for you. First of all, this machine can use the paddles and the wire for the monitoring. We have actually three parts. This is the pad we can use for monitoring for this shock and during the CPR. These two are paddles connected to the machine by itself, and these monitoring wires. You have three leads monitoring wires. I use this machine to show you the different kind of the leads. With this lead key, you can switch it between leads and paddles. Right now it is connected to the paddles. By the pressing it, it will show lead 1, lead 2, and lead 3. This all 1, 2, 3 working with this wire, it is okay. About the size, as you see right now, our QRS size is little bit small. If you want to see bigger and with higher quality, by pressing this one, it shows here, it is now is 1.5, now it's 2, and gradually it is shows bigger, 3, and if it was very big, you can drop it to half. For this situation, almost 2 is fine. This beep, it's okay when it is working, but if it starts to alarm because of some reason, by pressing this one, you can silence the alarm for a while, maximum by 2 minutes. Then it starts again. This recorder, of course, simply just to record whatever happened if you gave the shock for monitoring or pacing, you can use this one. But during the auto check, the machine every 24 hours will check itself to be sure all the function is working. In that case, it will make some print small for your record, but in other situation you can use this recorder to start and stop. Both is the same. Just by first press it will start to record, the second press will stop it. For shock, if you want to give the shock to the patient, no matter cardioversion or defibrillation, in both modes you can use these keys by choosing the energy, how much you want to give here. By pressing this button, it increase and decrease. Of course, for the cardioversion, depending on the patient situation, you may use between 50 to 150 joule. But for defibrillation, just 200 for the adult. Kids has different situation. Then you can press this key for the charge, and for deliver the shock, actually in that case you have to use these two keys together. Of course, you know, without actually one of them will not work alone. We have two paddles for apex and the sternum. The sternum, that means you have to put it almost here in the upside of the heart. Imagine the heart is here, and the apex means below the heart. In the left side, almost mid-axillary, and here in the right side of the chest. If you are using the paddles, but if you are using the pads, that is little bit different. Let me finish it, then we go there. So by this story, after I did all, I select the joule, I have to press this key for the charge. Of course, I'm not doing right now because it is dangerous for the machine. After you press this one, after almost 2-3 seconds, with the sound, beep sound, it shows you it is ready to deliver the shock. Then you have to remove the paddle, apply the jelly or lubricant, whatever you have, any kind of this lubricant in both sides, this paddle and that paddle as well. But all the surface should be covered by the lubricant, not just in the middle. Then put in the chest, almost about 10 to 12 kg pressure you have to apply in each pad to completely connect to the skin. If there is heavy skin, it's better you remove them if you have time. In urgent situation, leave it. Then together, as I said, press these keys to release the shock and deliver it. But in very rare situation, mostly you don't need to use it, but for rare situation, you may need to do everything from the paddles itself without going to machine. So for that purpose also, all the keys available here. Here you can choose the joule. If you change here, you will see in the monitor, it shows you how much the joule is selected. By pressing this second key, it will start to the charge. When it will charge completely, this red LED will turn on. That means shows it is ready. By pressing these two, you can deliver the shock. And even if you want to start to record, by pressing this recorder key here on off, still the record will start, and again by the second press it will stop. This paddle also equipped for the pediatric. By pressing this key a little bit, not too much because it is may break, little press it down and push from the back side to the out. Then this paddle will came out. Now it is for the pediatric. Same function, just the size for the kids body. To replace it, just simply put it here and push it firmly to see the clicking side. Okay, as the paddles is little bit dangerous, I'm not keeping in my hand for a long time.
Jonah.
Again, I turn it on. I switch to the manual mode to be able to do all the function here. So I set the basic key function. Okay, imagine now you are going to use the pads instead of the paddles because the CPR on process. So in that case, it's better you use the paddles because you can monitor the patient securely, and plus you can give the shock. Even you can use instead of for the pacing if needed. For this purpose, first we have to remove this key, this connector from here. Just little bit push it down or the back and firmly remove it in the same direction. Replace it in its own place and now connect to this pads connector. Easily you can see, find out, look at in these two, and easily you can find you have to connect this one in this way. Firmly press it till you heard the click sound. See? Now it is a small click coming here. That means it is fixed already. To remove it, if you want, is again press this one back to release this click and remove it. Okay, when it is connected, no leads, just the pads. With the pads, as this machine facilitated with the CPR quality dashboard as well, when you connect to this kind of the pads who has this extra part, in the most pads, you may see this part and this part. This kind of the pad facilitated with this part. This is for the CPR quality check. Same dashboard is here. When we start the chest compression, the depth, the rate and release or recoil time will appear here, and total outcome is appear here as a CPR quality, how much your quality is acceptable and in which level. Of course, you can adjust your steps and rate and release time if it was not correct by monitoring here with your colleague who is responsible for the monitoring. If you want to give the shock, you can use the pads and paddles as well. No matter if patient already in the pad, no need to remove the connector and attach to the pad. You can use the same pads to start for the defibrillation and cardioversion as well. The difference between cardioversion and defibrillation, first about the joule. In the cardioversion, you have to use between 50 to maximum 120 or 150, depending on the patient, trunk and other factors. But for the cardioversion, for defibrillation, just 200. It is fixed already. So imagine we have the patient with some abnormal rhythm. Patient in this rhythm, it is SVT, means supraventricular tachycardia. And you receive the order to cardiovert this rhythm. For this cardioversion, we need some steps. It is little bit different with the defibrillation. Some steps about the patient itself, preparation, may need sedation, may need some explanation, and so on. But about the machine, you cannot use the normal kind of the shock. You have to use the sync mode. For this sync mode, there is some key here. By pressing this key, the sync we apply here. Now the machine is ready to give the sync shock to the patient for cardioversion. But at the first step, do not trust to the machine. Check here. You have to see some small arrow or marker above each complex, each lead. Let I change this one to be sure it may show you in the when you find this one, it is okay, and this is your responsibility to be sure this arrow or this marker is correct place, exactly above the R rhythm, not before or not after. Then, no matter you are using the pads or you are using the paddle, again, start for the charging and imagine this is connect to the patient bare chest. We did everything, we pressed the charge, and now we are going to deliver the shock. For this kind of the rhythm, who unstable, but the patient has vitals, patient has pulse, you have to press these two keys together and keep the paddles till you heard the shock delivered. It takes normally less than 2 seconds, but anyway, it takes time. But in the normal rhythm, actually not normal, I mean the rhythm who need the defibrillation, like pulseless VT, VF, and torsade point. You don't need to wait. Just in that case, in such rhythm, you are not allowed to use the sync. You have to turn it off, because as you see, even the machine cannot detect correctly. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, because this is not the sync rhythm. You have to turn off the sync, just use the direct defibrillation and select the joule, and as I said, for such rhythm, it should be 200. Just select the joule, start the charging, and deliver the shock directly. As soon as you put on the bare chest, by pressing the key, the shock will deliver. What is the purpose of this key here? If you are using the pads right now that we connected to the pad, there is no any key in the pad to deliver the shock, as you see. So in that case, after you select the joule, you charge, just press this key. This key will deliver the shock using the pads itself. But if it is connected to the paddle, then in the paddle you have the key to use for the delivering the shock, no matter cardioversion or defibrillation, in both for both pads and paddles. These are the basic general concept. This machine is auto, and every 24 hours it will auto check itself to be sure all the function is working, and show you here the green check, means it is already set. But if by any purpose it was not green check, first you can do the manual check, same as the other old machine, by selecting the 30 joule. This is the default for this kind of the machine. The wire should be on place. Sorry. Press the charge without removing the paddles. Keep the paddles on the machine. Press the charge key. When it shows it is ready, you can use these two or this one, but better you use these keys. Together, it shows test is okay. And of course, if that was just because of the test issue, here will be turned to green. If it's still not, then you have to call the biomedical to come find out what is the issue in the machine. This is the general concept of all this device. About the battery, you don't need to manipulate that, but for your information, the battery is located here. There is some key shows you how much the battery is working full. By the pressing this key, these lights should be turned on. If this one turn on continuously, right now it is 1 second, you may see it is red, but if it is turned on completely and continuously, that means the battery is not working. Or if this orange key, that means need to check by the biomedical. When the green key is on, that means fine, and it shows you how much percent. Right now it is full, that means 100% battery is working. To replace, there is some small key here, just push it and remove the battery. In this situation, it is connected to the plug and it is working, but of course if you remove it, it will not work and you have to replace the battery soon. Okay, if you had a patient who need pace, normally never doctor will insert the pacing wire here, but if the patient had already paced from the CCU, ICU or operation room and you receive it, to use the pace, you have to turn this key, this knob to the down side. For here, now the pacing door will be open. The machine is ready for pacing. For the pacing, you have to turn to the manual mode, because in the auto mode it cannot not adjustable actually. For this purpose, again, you cannot use the paddles. In that case, just you allow to use the pads, because the paddles may move, but for the pacing it should be fixed. So you have to remove this main cable from here again. Connect to pads and imagine we have, for example, this kind of rhythm. It is sinus brady around, for example, 30 something, like their advice for the pacing. As soon as we start the pacing, it will not show us here, because it should be attached to the body to detect by the machine. Otherwise, the monitor cannot show us, but I will tell you what you have to do. After you attach these pads to this wire, then you have two knob key here, again to the adjust. This one for the output. For the output, we don't have the exact number, depend on the patient response. When you increase that one gradually, you have to see here the spike is came and the beating started, depend on the patient condition, and the rate also. Normally 70, of course, it is the default as a heartbeat rate, but you can increase the rate as well. I think up to 120 or 140. Yeah, it's still high, but we don't need, of course, such rhythm. Around 70 to 80 for us is enough. What about the output, it is dependent on the patient. Sometimes we need higher energy to be detected by the heart. Actually, this pulse start beating. So after it's finished, it's better you remove the pads and replace the wire in their own place to keep it safe, because this one, there is lots of wire inside. If damaged completely, this machine will be useless.